Hello, my name is Chris Mahan with CareerSource Pasco Hernando. Thank you for tuning into my community spotlight on Pasco Connects. Go to YouTube and search for Pasco Connects to check out the full interview.
What's up, everyone? My name is Candace Smith, and this is Pasco Connect. I'm excited to be back for another community spotlight with a special guest, Chris Mahan from from CareerSource.
It's actually
He's
Mahan.
Mahan. And I said it anyway. I'm sorry. He's not out here creating mayhem. We just joked about that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I get it all the time. It's fine.
He is with CareerSource. He's a workforce development specialist for Pasco and Hernando. And just to give you a little bit of background, we just met. Just met the past weekend ago, 2 weekends ago at the Recovery Walk in Pasco, Newport Richey. It was a great event. I actually met a lot of interesting people. And so I was glad to connect back with Chris. He's helping my son connect with some work. So I'm excited to have him on today to tell us a little bit more about some of the resources and some of the services that he's providing to the community. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and the services that you provide to the community.
I have been with CareerSource Pasco Hernando for 7 years as of the 18th of August. So what we do, or what I do, is I work with 18 and 24-year-olds. They come through our program, which I'll tell you about in a second, and I help them find work. We work with local businesses, organizations. We do direct hires. We work with the company to basically assist the young person with a career choice that they like. We don't just place them somewhere. We actually work with them on how to find a job, what they're looking for. We go through a lot of career exploration with them to figure out what it is they really like. Is it hands-on, inside, outside? So then my job is to go find businesses that are willing to do a contract with us for the DEOs. We pay the insurance, we pay those paid internships, we pay them $10 an hour. And the hope is that they get trained well enough that the employer just can't live without them and they hire them. If they don't hire them for whatever reason, the participant still walks away with added information on their resume, work experience, some money in their pocket, and hopefully some networking opportunities with that employer. A lot of times employers just don't have the money to bring them on, or they are in a growth period or not in a growth period. So there's a couple things that might happen. And other times the youth might figure out, hey, this really wasn't what I like to do, so I want to go someplace else. So we look for something else for them, kind of no harm, no foul. And so I work with local employers all through Pasco County. We have an office in Dade City. We also have an office up in Brooksville, Spring Hill. We work with both counties. So our whole goal with our team is to put young people in this area, these two counties, to work, to make them self-sufficient, to help them with life skills, job skills. Once they're in our program, we help them with bus passes to get to work, gas cards if needed, Uber passes if needed, a bicycle if needed. We take them to Goodwill to actually buy them interview clothes. So we bring in also local employers to do mock interviews with them. So all of this is to get them prepared to work. So when they come into our program, they can have a multitude of barriers. We are federally funded. So we look for kids that are out of school. They can have a diploma or not have a diploma. We do assist with GED. And then from there, we also work with the military. If there's anybody in the military right now waiting to be shipped out, they're sitting here local with nothing to do, they're waiting for their date. We are looking for 20 pre-enrolled, ready to go military people from any branch for this year to put them to work while they're waiting to go wherever they have to go. So that's new. We've never had the military on board like that, but now we do. So in the grand scheme of things, the hope is that they come in completely raw. They leave our program with some skills, some life skills, job skills, a little more confidence in what they're doing. And we do that with a 7-day Develop You workshop. And in that workshop, we do everything from building a resume, hard skills, soft skills, cover letter, elevator pitch, interview techniques. They get certified in safe staff so they can work in a restaurant here in the state of Florida. We do everything we can in that workshop. It's a lot to go into to prepare them so that when they do actually go out and interview, they do a great job. And then once they're in a job or in a internship, part of my job is also to follow up each week. How are they doing? What's happening? Are they getting to work on time? Do they have any issues? If they do have issues, we kind of coach them up. We work with them to try and keep them on track. A lot of our kids in this area, if I'm being very honest, have a lot of crises at home, some dysfunction at home. They've got a lot of issues they're dealing with. So it's really upon us as adults to help them. And so when I find a work site, I explain that to the work site. So a lot of our work sites are incredibly helpful in coaching these kids as well. They also know that, hey, these kids aren't the most ideal employees. They never worked before, or they've got issues they're dealing with. So the employers that we work with here locally and up in Hernando have been absolutely fabulous in terms of understanding what we're giving them and their role in helping develop these kids into strong individuals and hopefully one day self-sufficient adults.
Awesome. First of all, let me just say thank you because this is a big service that you provide to the community and it's definitely needed. So, I guess my question is, how did you all know that this was something that was needed? What told you that this particular age group needed these types of services?
Well, this program has been around since the 60s
Mm,
and it's been changed over the years a little bit. In 2016, it was previous called WIA, the Workforce Innovations Act, and the O, it stands for Opportunity, came in 2016. So this is actually a federal program. It's all over the country, and each one is operated a little bit differently throughout the state based on population and what's needed. So we are District 16, we're Pasco Hernando. So the way we operate might be a little bit different than, say, Orlando or Tampa or St. Pete because it's all based on what the people need in those areas. It's not cookie cutter. So we work with 18 to 24. We work with local high schools. We work with local organizations to try and find these kids. And right now, believe it or not, we're having a hard time finding kids to come in and register with us. So we're trying to go out there and find as many 18 and 24-year-olds that want to work, are able to work, maybe need some of the other extra services so that we can get them in and keep them going. COVID set us back a little bit. We did have to shut down our office. We had to work from home for a while. We had to go to a different location. Now we're back at our normal office at 4440 Grand Boulevard, right there at the corner of Trouble Creek and Grand in Newport Richey. So we're pretty easy to find, right behind the Auto Zone, if you're familiar with that corner. We're the whole back corner. That whole back corner is our office. So we are just really trying to get the youth and their parents and grandparents and the community at large to know that we're back in service, never left service. We're back in that office. We're still running. We're still going. We're still looking for them. We work with local schools, churches, other organizations such as yourself and others to try and let them know that we're here.
mhm.
So we're trying to get as many kids in that we can. We have to service over 100 kids, which means we have to talk to about 300 or 400 because not all of them are going to be eligible or suitable. So we need a lot of numbers.
Okay. So, do you service homeschoolers?
We have, if they have documentation,
Mhm.
they have to show where they are because we are a federal program. So we have to show that they are a U.S. citizen or able to work here, green card, whatever it might be. But as far as the schooling goes, we do have to look at some things. Every kid that comes in, every young adult that comes in, I hate to say kid, every young adult that comes in will be CASA tested. It's an assessment to see where they are. And then from there, we can look at their academic level, where they might be. But in terms of getting in the program, we do have to have some documentation from them. That's why not every we had a young man come in from South Africa last month. Fantastic guy, would have been great. but he was missing some documentation.
Mm,
He was able to be, he just didn't have it. So without it, we can't, we have to prove,
right.
where everybody is. But other than that, we're pretty much, we can work with a lot.
Okay. So what do you think is preventing, not preventing, but I guess keeping young people from coming in?
That's the $1,000,000 question. That's what we've been trying to figure out,
Hmm.
because normally we had great walk in, a lot of word of mouth. And I personally think a lot of it is that the COVID just put everybody at home and they kind of just, they weren't in school, they weren't working, they couldn't, so a lot of them are kind of in that mindset, I think, that nothing's open,
Hmm.
but we are open and a lot of businesses are hiring and they're open. So now it's just we need to get the word out. Like today, we have to let people know as far and as loud as we can that we are open and ready to go.
Right.
So I think it was just everyone got very used to being locked in for a while, or I don't know, maybe they're afraid to go out. I don't know what it was, but you know, we're open and we're ready to go. So we need them.
Okay. So I know you're being on that end. What does the job market look like? Because that is something that I feel like I would question myself. Like, it kind of seems like there are not a lot of jobs out there in 1 minute. Then the next minute, it seems like everybody's hiring. So, what do you see happening out there for this age group as far as job availability?
This age group is wide open because a lot of them don't have the experience for some jobs, but then they also have those jobs where they are new to the workforce. So jobs like landscaping, jobs like restaurant, jobs like office administration. And what I mean by that is it's answering phones, being that face of people walk in. We just got a young lady hired up in Lutz. She's still currently getting her GED, actually her diploma. I'm sorry, and she came through the Dade City office. I connected with the business, and then we just put her with them, and she was to do a temporary internship, and they hired her last week. So, no experience. They trained her, they liked her, she was a good fit, and she's now making really good money. There are a lot of businesses in the area. The biggest deterrent that we have isn't that there's no jobs, it's the transportation issue.
Mm.
Buses only run so far, and they only run so much at night. They end at 6 or 7, whatever it might be. A lot of our kids have to work to 9. If they're working as a CNA, they're working till 11. So transportation is a big hindrance. That stops a lot of kids. A lot of kids don't have a driver's license, even if they do have access to a car. That's another big hindrance. So it's not that there aren't jobs out there. There's a lot of jobs out there. I just got 2 young men hired with Republic, the trash company, a fantastic company up here up in Hudson, and they're making great money with great growth and insurance and everything else. They're 19 and 22 years old. So it's not that there's not jobs out there, it's that some of our kids just don't have access to get to them, and that's the big problem. So even if we get them a gas card, will their mom or dad get them there? Even if we can get them a bus pass, does it run to where they have to go? So transportation is the biggest deterrent.
Okay, gotcha. So I heard you mention a few of the different types of jobs. What is out there available to them? What are some of the things that they can do?
I get asked that question every day. Basically, I'll tell you the same thing I tell them. What would you like to do?
Mm,
There's everything from restaurant, office, outside, inside. We also work with the business services office through CareerSource. So if a young person wants to be in, say, manufacturing, we have a young man right now trying to get into an engineering field. He just graduated high school with a robotics interest. So we're working on that for him. Really, it just depends on what they wanna do. The thing I don't want to do is put them in a job they get themselves, like at a fast food. Nothing against fast food, but these are things that they could do on their own. We wanna get them where there's some career growth and some, just job growth and money, income potential. These kids, a lot of them are helping pay rent at home. A lot of these kids are on the verge of being homeless. A lot of these kids are homeless. So I need to get them the best paying job that I can. And it's not always easy because it may be that they don't have the education, they don't have um, the maturity for that job yet. So again, that's where we sit down with them. We say, okay, what's the reality is you're not ready for this job yet. However, you could go into this field and work your way up. So yeah, there's plenty of jobs. And the biggest thing though too is getting kids to realize that you have to go to work. We actually have kids come in and say, I don't really want to work, I just want my diploma. Well, we're a job program, so that doesn't really work for us. So then we have to figure out, well, why don't you want to work? Like, what's happening? Are you just, independently wealthy? Like, what is it?
Right.
Let me know your secrets. I want
Right.
to do the same thing. So convincing them and showing them that you have to work to have things. And a lot of them sadly go the easy route. And then that ends up usually with jail. We've had that happen.
Mhm.
A lot of them have gone the easy route and end up in other places they shouldn't. So educating young people on the importance of being self-sufficient, having that education. Without that piece of paper, I don't care if it's GED or the diploma, without that piece of paper, they're pretty much stuck.
Mhm.
And showing them, and again, this goes back to the family element I was talking about a minute ago. A lot of times they don't have that support piece at home. So we have to come in, the employers have to come in and say, this is why this is important. This is why we're going to work with you on the schedule to go do your GED class and go do your high school diploma class, because we want you to have that education. So we kind of fill that extra support piece that they either don't have or it's a little weak.
Mhm.
And it's a daily grind.
Right.
It's impossible to explain what we see,
Mhm.
and I don't want to say anything to upset any parents, but it's real.
Yeah, I believe you. I totally believe you. I believe it's layers upon layers of things that probably impact their lives that prevent them from, you know, it could seem very simple, but I definitely get it. Are there other agencies and organizations that you connect with to maybe get services like mental health and healthcare and things like that to address other issues?
Yes,
Okay.
that's something that we work with. That's a huge component of what we do because we are limited. And again, we're a job program. We're not a social services program. So what we do then, if the organization isn't in our office directly, whether it's child support or whatever, food stamps, SNAP, whatever it might be, we work with ASAP. We work with Baycare. We work with the sheriff's office. We work with the Pasco County schools. We work with other domestic violence organizations because we've had girls in really, really bad situations. Uh, any organization that can help us support them in a life needed way, we look for that. We also, I can't tell you how many boxes of food that I've picked up off Congress at Volunteer Way and driven all over this county to drop off to kids. Sometimes that food is used as their rent to stay in a house. Like I will take
Mm,
them food, say, look, it's not money, but if I can get you some food to show this family or whomever it is that you're contributing,
right.
then let them, stay in the house for a couple more days.
Mhm.
So clothes. We had a young man come in the other day. He just lost his grandmother, his mom, and his dad in a year. He's
Mm.
19 years old. So he came into our program wearing slides and sweatpants and a t-shirt and was going to go interview at Publix.
Mm.
And he wasn't in our program yet, but I was like, you can't do that.
Right.
So I offered him clothes. I had shoes in my trunk that I just replaced. So I was going to drop them off. So I gave him my stuff. And so he could at least have some clothes to go look halfway decent to go interview. Um, he's not even in our program, but this is what we deal with every day. We've had young people in domestic violence situations where they call one of our team members at 1:00 in the morning, and then we have to get the police involved or get DCF involved or find a shelter for them. Um, we've put young ladies in hotels. We've put just emergency situations. We can't do it all the time, but these are some of the things that we deal with far and away that have nothing to do with a job. But if they're not able to focus on life, then a job doesn't matter.
Right.
They're in survival mode every day.
Right.
So that's what we see.
Mhm.
And a lot of our employers understand that, which makes them awesome people. I think we should all support our local businesses.
Right.
They are great people. They do a lot more than people realize. We've had businesses buy kids food. We've had businesses buy kids clothes. We've had businesses hire kids that they didn't have the money to really do, but they did it because they knew that kid needed it. Uh, our local businesses, we couldn't survive without them, actually. So big shout out to all of our local businesses.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have two more questions. So what is, if you know this, but what do you think is the success rate of the program?
We have, that's a good question. Prior to COVID, because we're still trying to put numbers together and readjust that whole situation. Prior to COVID, I believe we were 85, 90% successful.
Wow.
We are one of the highest in the state. We have been incredible. Our team is amazing. Like, I cannot even describe to you how awesome our team is. Our team gives 100% every day. And there's not many of us, only a few of us in each area. I think there's like 8 of us. So our success rate isn't just about, we don't look at them as numbers. Okay. We're dealing with people. We're not dealing with widgets. We're not dealing with things. We're dealing with people. So if they are not successful, we're not successful, and we're all pretty competitive as a group. So we like to compete with each other in each office, nicely, but we do compete. So we are trying to help each other, but at the same time, we're trying to one-up each other. And in doing that, our numbers go up, and we exceed our numbers every year based on what the goals are set by the DEO and our funder. And we're very proud of that. So it's a measure that for some people might think, okay, they met their goals. But for us, we know that we touched a lot of young people. And we've had parents come in and say, wow, you really helped my kid. Or grandparents come in, and, self-advocacy is a big thing that we have to push, because a lot of parents and grandparents especially are concerned, and in a way, though, they're a little too involved. So we have to politely say, look, you got to step back a little bit and let
Right.
your 22-year-old grandson learn how to do this,
Right.
or your 24-year-old daughter with 2 kids learn how to do this,
Right.
because you're not going to be there all the time.
Right.
So sometimes that gets a little sketchy. They get a little upset with us, but at the same time, they come back and they realize that what we're telling them is for everyone's best interest. We're not trying to get anybody upset, but at the same time, we have to be honest with them and say, listen, your son, your daughter is going down a dark road. Or if you could just kind of let us do what we do, we'll kind of get them in the right direction. And then we get a lot of, I've been doing this now 7 years, so I get kids from 5, 6 years ago will contact me, and I know some of my coworkers have the same experience. They'll contact us and say, hey, you told us this in the workshop. I didn't believe you, but now I'm 27 and it's really happening. What can I do? I'm coming out of the military. I'm in Germany. This was a recent one. I want to come back. I need help getting back into civilian life and getting work. Can you help me? So you realize that you plant that seed, and then finally over time, you're going to see the fruits of your labor. And that's our goal. Our goal is to help these kids, prosper and develop into functioning adults.
Absolutely. So, okay, I have 2 more questions though.
Okay.
Once again.
That's okay.
So how can the community support you, like, with the things that you need?
They can contact us, and because we are a nonprofit, so we'd have to go through the proper channels as far as paperwork and whatnot. We can't just take donations. We have to do it the proper way. But if they want to do certain things, they can contact us. They can call me, 813-403-9091, or they can email me at cmahan, MAHAN, at CareerSourcePascoHernando.com. It's a very long email. So from there, then I can just set them up to the right channels through the powers that be, so we can make it happen. If you're a local business and you want to be a part of this program, please call me. If you are a local organization, you want to help in some way, please call me, and we will see how that can work. We also do service learning projects in the community. So if you need help with some things, we can bring out 4 or 5 or 6 young people. We've done Up in Hernando County, we've done things at the Weeki Wachee State Park. We've actually planted plants and cleaned the front pool there, got all wet and soggy years ago. For 2 years in a row, we helped a local dentist with the free dental day, where we brought people out. We help with parking and serving up the lunch and the whole thing. And so we do that also to show our young people that you might be in a bad situation, but there's always someone in a worse situation. So volunteering is incredibly important, not only to give them a sense of purpose, but also some job skills. We can use those on a resume as a transferable skill. They also get out in the public and kind of meet people and know what's going on and how to network a little bit. So a service learning project, if you've got a project coming up or something this fall for Christmas or whatnot, you'd like some assistance, please let us know. Again, 813-403-9091. Give us a call. I'd love to connect with you.
Awesome. I like that voice when you read that number.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so last question is, what are some upcoming things that you have for the rest of 2021?
Wow. Well, every month we do a new workshop. So starting September 13th is our September workshop of new people. So if you are 18 to 24 or you know someone who's 18 to 24, you're out of school, you need some help, give us a call, 813-403-9091.
Love it.
It's a radio. Anyway, and we'll be happy to interview them and see if they're able. If there's something that we can do for October, say they got to get some paperwork or whatever around, it's not soon enough, October, November, every month we do it. So we are here, and come on in and check us out.
Awesome. This has been perfect. I feel like I learned a lot. I know a lot of people are going to learn a lot, and hopefully we'll get some more young people there and signed up and on their way to better careers.
I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. This has been wonderful. Give that number one more time.
813-403-9091.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you so much. All right, until next time.